And as you can see, the hoof beast has been channeling his inner magic in his new ball of light. I don't understand how you do that. Damn. Was it the power of the booty compels you? Welcome everyone to another edition of Tracks of the Damned on this Mommy Milkers Monday, your favorite day of the week to get you started and pumped for the rest of the week. Where the hell is everyone? What the hell? What is going on here? What's up, Cody? Always glad to see you, brother. I guess people missed the memo. What the hell? It's literally been blasted everywhere. I don't understand this. Maybe everyone's busy. Maybe they fell asleep too. Shit, I just woke up from a nap. You know? But that's because I'm old.
I think we're going to go on at 6:20 or 6:30. Or I mean,
You're right. Well, you know, this time of year is so strange and weird that I think it affects everybody differently. And, you know, Mondays are Mondays. They're either really, really fucking good or they're just absolute shit bad. You know what I mean? But tonight, though, we have an excellent record that we're going to be discussing by these guys, Coffin Storm, and their new record, Arcana Rising. But before we get into this tasty little treat, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check it out. That's right. Villain Arts Tattoos, biggest tattoo convention in the world. And this past Chicago tattoo convention was the shit. So if they come to your state, your city, your town, you need to get your ass there, get a high quality tattoo, check out the awesome performers and all the wonderful vendors, and possibly see the big bad devil daddy himself there as well. And I think I figured it out, because while we were rolling that commercial, I was like, you know what? Facebook must be at it again. Some people have said that they don't get the reminder that, you know, we're going to be going live. So it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. Kyler, what's up? We are definitely doing well, sir, and we hope you are as well. As always, share it out, share it loud. Wake up the dead. Don't give a shit what you got to do. Let everybody know that it's time to talk about this new super group. And I really couldn't be more excited to talk about it. We are talking about Coffin Storm. These three motherfuckers right here, affectionately known as
Inferno and
Mhm.
Ease. And what's the other guy? I wrote it down here. Bestial Tormentor.
Yep. I was pretty sure that that was the way to say it too. I just thought I would give it to you so I wouldn't have to go, damn, I hope I said that right. Three wonderful chaps from Norway. You know, a lot of them fucking Dark Throne members. And I forget the other band name, the other big one. But anyways,
Or Aura Noir.
that's it. Aura Noir. That's right.
Yeah.
Now,
I
I
think
know what you're thinking out there, Morgrot Universe. These three guys come together from huge, like, black metal backgrounds, and you're thinking you're going to get hit in the face with another black metal style kind of record. That is far from the truth. This record is not black metal at all. And I'll tell you, I've read reviews on this. As a matter of fact, I pulled a couple of thoughts from metalsucks.net as far as this record. And they all say the same thing. Like, we're thinking that, these three guys get together, this is going to be a huge black metal record. And much to, well, not to my chagrin, because I really love the direction this album is going. But for a first effort, it's just like powerful. It is literally a walk back into time. I don't know if you would agree, Hoofbeast. You tell me.
definitely heavy metal, definitely a heavy Isengard influence, which is, if you guys are not familiar with, Fenris of Dark Throne sang clean vocals and kind of extremely kind of goofy to be in a way good.
No,
Like
it's very good.
the first time you hear Fenris vocals, you might think, "Oh my gosh, that's really silly sounding." But then you fucking get into it. It's not like hard to get into, like maybe James LaBrie from Dream Theater or Geddy Lee from. This is some goofy stuff, but this is a fun yet dark album.
Yeah,
It
very much so.
it has groove, and there's one song in particular, my favorite song that I'll talk about later. That song has some freaking groove, and it makes me feel like one of my favorite thrash bands on their best album. And I'm hoping that
Yeah.
Reaper upon that as well.
No, most definitely. For a first effort, I'm trying to pull up the song list here. This is not a long record. It's not long-winded, but the songs themselves are kind of long, but they're fun, awesome. I still have to say, a little bit doomy at times, but and that's what a lot of people have been saying about this record, is it's very traditional doom. So when they say that, they're talking about, naturally, bands like Candlemass or Pentagram, just in its construction, but it's still a little bit straight ahead, actually. It's not super slow at all. It's just very driving force. The before I get into all the good stuff, I might as well say what I don't like about it. Because of course there is something that bothers me as a drummer. Damn flat snare drum sound. That is it, and I get it. I think they did this on purpose. They captured the 80s snare drum before there was any track. There is no reason, with the production value that we have today, that they would, suddenly like fall prey to the flat snare sound. And it's okay. I mean, you can still hear it. It's more of a thud instead of a whap. But then again, this kind of metal doesn't necessarily have to have it. I just think it would have been a little bit more exciting. They also went with a very, very natural bass drum sound. There's no
Mhm.
ping, there's no like attack sound. It's more of a feeling like you're getting punched in the gut instead of getting an uppercut to the chin. Uh, and the fucking cymbals are so
Yes.
loud.
The,
Holy crap.
the hi
Oh, the
the
hi hat sounds like they used a four track.
yeah, the hi-hat cut through unlike any other hi-hat I've heard in my whole life. And it's good. It's
No,
like
it's good.
right in between the beats, like pops, pops. Like you can hear it, and it's really nice. Like hi-hats are like there's so many extreme metal bands that I watch, and you watch the drummer playing, you can see they're hitting the hi-hat, but you don't hear it. But in this, you do, and because it's such a mid-tempo, upbeat kind of mid-tempo, there's time for that hi-hat to ring out in your ears before the
Mhm.
hit. So really liked that. Very organic drum production, mic drum production. It's really earthy. I think they are totally on purpose trying to take us back to 1981,
Definitely.
and I'm glad I'm on that train.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't know. I just me as a drummer, I prefer the snare is more of an attack versus just kind of like the thud of, I don't know, a water buffalo falling over onto the ground. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Because even when I was a kid and straining my ears in order to hear what's going on in some of my favorite European metal stuff, because they were the ones that were always kind of behind with that sound, because the American productions, you always had a little bit more of a clearer defined thud versus a flat thud. But like I said, I mean, if you go back, listen to Diamond Head and some of those early bands over there, that's what you got. And that's okay. I mean, I'm not really, pissed off about it. I was just like, damn, you guys captured that shit way too well. Uh, it's like, hearing Lombardo's kit on the first record of Slayer. It was very flat. But the toms, though,
Mm.
unholy shit. I love the sound of the toms because every time he hits that shit, there's no reverb. It's just flat attack, and it's awesome. Almost kind of reminded me of like John Bonham's kit on some of the later Led Zeppelin records.
Mm.
So, and I mean, otherwise, everything was pretty well mixed, I think.
Mhm.
The bass, though, is not super present.
Yeah,
At
like
least not how I was listening to it with my earbuds.
so. This I agree with you, but when I listened to it today in my car, I could hear it a lot better. But last night, I've listened to the song for about 4 days now,
Mhm.
and night when I went to bed, of course, the Devil's Lettuce and I had a meeting, and
Allegedly. No.
this album is awesome on Devil's Lettuce. It's really good. It's kind of like, for me personally, not all doom metal, like Solitude, Nocturnus, Candlemass, I can go sober with that. This is a
Sure.
little repetitive, but it's okay. The songs are long, and they do
Yeah.
change things quite a bit in it. But it's it's something that I really, really got into a little bit better. I could groove with it more, and I didn't feel the repetition because the grooves are really catchy. All the riffs are very catchy, which can
Mhm.
be good, or you can get bored of them fairly easy. And another thing like, so yeah, anyways, last night I was listening and I just couldn't hear the bass, like
Yep.
very faintly. Today I could hear it a little better, and I totally agree with you. I'm glad you brought that up. It totally needs to be probably what I would call two hairs. It needs to come up like a couple good bits because it'll fill the atmosphere a little better.
Just a little bit. It felt again, this was very indicative of the early 80s when, these records were coming out, that unless you were Steve fucking Harris or Geezer Butler who said, turn my shit up, please, the bass was just kind of always back in the fray. So I almost want to hear this thing on cassette. I think that would be really cool too. Just since the whole nostalgia factor is because this is like Satan's little party band. That is how I feel about this record. You could throw it on, put a nice little glass of something in your cup holder, and no, don't drive. But back in those days, people did that shit. So it just reminds me of that. Like you could be in, your dad's old Ford truck and just be rocking this thing out as you're, heading to high school. I really dig it. There's so many influences, and metalsucks.net also felt this way. Let me see if this is the right one. It says, while some throwback style bands come off hackneyed or corny, there is nothing overdone about this record. It simply sounds like an album that could have easily come out in the 80s, except for a few heavy nuances and Easter eggs that make it even better and more crushing than some of its predecessors. This one comes highly recommended. And there's another piece of this too, I think. So it says, but it's not black metal that rears its ugly head on Arcana Rising. The record channels 80s European traditional doom realness in the vein of bands like Candlemass, Pentagram, but with their own unique style. Now, there were some other moments in there too, not on those two particular pages, but they talked about early Metallica. That's not a far stretch.
A little too slow tempo, though, I would say.
Well, I think they were talking more about the songs that were a bit more like in the guitar, because this is definitely a riff band, very somewhat chuggy at times too. It's just very British. I don't know. I don't even know if I would call it British wave of metal, but a little bit more anthemic. But like we said, very dark at the same time. And that's what I dig about it. So when I heard Over Frozen Moors, I instantly thought of this could be a Judas Priest and AC/DC kind of had a love child. And it was dark and pissed off. And then you get these great vocals. And I'm like, damn, okay. I was expecting something a bit grittier, and especially from our wonderful Norwegian brothers over there. So very clean, very easy to understand. And I mean, there was a couple moments where I kind of giggled a little bit when they did this overdub vocal. I think they were trying to get almost a harmonized thing there. And it ended up, one was way too loud and one was way too quiet. I was like, did you do that on purpose? Are you trying to recreate Venom? Is that what happened there? Because, some of those early bands from back then, Lizzie Borden, I'm trying, my mind is a fucking scatterbrain, but bands like that, where they had, really bad overdubs sometimes with, trying to harmonize vocals, or they had a backup singer that would harmonize with the main vocalist, but they would be like this. And you got that with that. I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. Now, some people, I don't know. If you're just a huge fan of screaming, you're not going to get this. This is all clean. Hoofbeast hit it on the head with Messiah. Definitely Messiah style kind of vocals here. Very operatic, but in a super cool kind of way.
Yeah, to me, it's a mix between Messiah and King Diamond. King Diamond. So when I
There
heard
she is. Housebound.
Hey Mouse Monk, the first one I thought of when I heard this album was Ghost. Like this,
Little
ev-
bit.
every riff except for two songs is, well, no, three songs. Because one song, it's like half Ghost, half Candlemass, and a really good tribute to Candlemass.
Yes. Yes.
But the first song, over Frozen Moors, that song is fucking Ghost like crazy, but darker. It has the fun kind of poppiness of Ghost, but it's more fun. And that's really the only song that is kind of heavily Ghost inspired to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like early 80s heavy metal, except for when we get to my favorite song, which is Ceaseless Abandon. This
Yeah.
sounds like Carrie King from the Seasons in the Abyss and maybe half of the South of Heaven album with Dave Lombardo, because the percussion in that song, to me, that is Dave Lombardo inspired. It's a much slower mid tempo, and there are three songs that have Slayer type single note riffs in there, but this one really sounds like it's influenced by Seasons in the Abyss quite a bit.
I follow you on that. I do. That's why I kind of brought up Slayer a few moments ago, because there's definitely a lot of stylistic and sound wise within some of these riffs, especially that song. So definitely agree with that. But a big point is that the vocalist himself, when he's baritone, sounds very much like a young King in Merciful Fate. And there are so many riffs, and I'm going to say it right now, in Open the Gallows.
That's the longest song, 10 minutes.
Straight Hank fucking Sherman riffage. Cannot tell me that it isn't. That guy always tread between what was heavy and what was poppy metal. And it's like they captured that right there. And then, like I said, with the Fenris, definitely was bringing some Merciful Fate King up into this. We got some comments here, of course. Mouse Bonk says, "Sorry, I'm late. I was being a gamer nerd." Well, that is okay. You're allowed to.
Oh, boo.
Just as long as you learned your lesson. I'm just playing. Cody says, as much as I love hearing a demon come out of someone, I love clean vocal metal as well. And that is so refreshing to hear, especially someone as young as you are, sir. Because most people are like either really stuck to deathcore, metalcore kind of singing, instead of something a bit more traditional like this. So I'm glad that you dig that. And I do have an example to play. So we're going to be doing that here in a few minutes, because I figured out how to keep Facebook out of our business. Yeah. All I have to do, you know how when you repost somebody's face or Instagram stuff, you have to use a separate app in order to do that. So all I do is I pretend I'm going to repost something onto my page there, and then I put it over here instead. So you can't touch it. There's nothing. You can't touch it. So excuse me. Mm. Too much cheese. Anyway.
That was awesome.
What's that?
That was awesome.
So Mousebong says, dude, I fucking hate Ghost the band. We're not trying to say that they're trying to embody Ghost. It's just stylistic in the riffage a bit. It's a bit simpler, if that makes sense. She goes on to say, so I only just listened to this record, but I'm loving the old school tone. Right on. And then Elden Ring iOS just too fucking good. It makes me, oh my. I think I get what you're trying to say. Must be a lady boner moment. And then says, do you all game? We could do most metal fucking games ever or something if so. You're just having a ball over there, aren't you? All right. But yeah, that's kind of where we're going with that. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. She definitely let us know. Nothing wrong with that. And she says, I can't type tonight. I've had too many drinkies. See, it's the power of the secret devil juice that brings us all together on Monday nights.
Devil juice and devil's lettuce.
I mean, what else is there to do on a Monday night? Come on, be real. Oh, Cody says, I'm back. This program for sculpting has crashed my PC. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. But I'm glad you're back. It seems like everyone's like, I don't know, somewhere else right now. I don't know what's going on with that. Then again, like I said, Facebook, YouTube, maybe the whole stupid thing has gotten all over the place.
Mousebong, I do not game just because I don't have time, but I do have a Xbox One, and I like all of the Gears of War, and I like Call of Duty. That's what I play. Because I just
How can you not love those two games? But what you need to add is Left 4 Dead.
I have a few.
You gotta have that, and you have to have some Halo.
Yeah, I've tried Halo. I've tried a few others. There's one that's a zombie game, Dead Rising.
Dead Rising is super good as well.
I played like Dead Rising 4 or 5, and I loved that game. That was a lot of fun. Getting in the car and just mowing all of the Easter Jesuses over. Of them over and then take the weed eater to zombie Jesus's head. And
well, sure. But Left 4 Dead is even better though, because they have some really fun mutated zombies that you can kill. They're like big bosses. One of them being the smoker. He has a retractable tongue that all he does is show up and go, yeah, and then spits it out, grabs you, and you have like 2.5 seconds to shoot him with a shotgun blast. And then it's all good, and he blows up in a green mist of smoke. And then you have the fucking tank. God damn it. This thing is so huge. He looks like a mutated Incredible Hulk, and Hunchback of Notre Dame had a love child. And he's like, you know what I mean? When he runs, the whole ground, the whole screen shakes like, dun, 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 dun. I mean, you should really put it on like theater sound for this shit. And you just have to beat the fuck out of him until he dies. It's so much fun. Let's see here. Oh, shit. We got a lot of comments now. I agree with you. Well, Call of Duty's not that tough. But for me, I'm more of a Black Ops player. I enjoy that a little bit more. Mousebong says, Left 4 Dead is one of the most fun gaming experiences with friends. I mean, that's really what it's created for. She says, dude, I was just playing Dead Rising 2, the one in the mall. That's my favorite one of that series.
That's the one.
I absolutely love that one.
Yeah, that's the one I played. I thought that was like Dead Rising 4 or 5. But yeah,
Hell yeah. Cody
'cause-
says there is a game based in metal. The more you play, the faster the song goes. The levels interact with the music. Oh, that's cool. You'll have to slide me what game that is. Sweet. Oh, he said it's called, of course, Metal Hell Hellsinger. Yeah, Hellsinger. I was gonna say Slinger for a second, but I guess not. Sweet. All right, cool. Back to now that we've got all of our favorite games out of the way. Back to uh, shit, Coffin.
Storm.
There we go. And how metal is that name? Coffin Storm. Who the hell would not, automatically say this is going to be a fun band with a band name like that? Seriously. Another one that I really, really dug. Actually, the title track is really good. I would almost venture to say that the first two songs are very similar in its construction. But you can still tell them apart because, I mean, it does have different breakdowns and stuff like that as well, which is good. So it's not so mundane. I definitely did not find myself flipping around like, okay. No, I would listen and, like the metalsucks.net said, they leave a lot of little Easter eggs in there too. So actually, let's go ahead and give them a listen to one of these tracks. And pay attention to what it says on there, because this is them telling you what you're in for. And I thought this was really cool. Check it out. Was awesome. Wear denim, raise a beer, and bang your head. I mean, come on. They are telling you we are fucking fun. We are a party band. And I mean, if you can't tell from that was total 80s influenced, something's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Um, from the guitar solos, and I finally like grabbed it out of my brain after listening to that. So the reason they put early Metallica in there, and they said that when they were listing for fans of, it's all those like moments where they would just hit a cymbal together while the riff is still going. Early Metallica was so well known for that. You know what I mean? It's not the fact that it was fast stuff. It was just like those little breaks, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all over Kill 'Em All.
Yeah. No, I totally see that. But I'm really surprised to hear you give your percussion idol Lars such a compliment.
Actually, I'm giving the compliment to Kim Ruz because where do you think he learned it from? I'm sorry, stole it from. Merciful Fate's original drummer, Kim Ruz.
Right on.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. I will
For
never give that guy a compliment.
Part of this album, I hear Celtic Frost in there, especially in Arcana Rising a little bit, but then once it picks up, it's more like an upbeat Ghost to me, or upbeat Ghost, or it's a little bit more proggy, like a King Diamond to me.
Well,
Yeah,
and that came from the Merciful Fate days too, because there was so many changes, so many rhythmic changes, time changes, all in one song. So yeah, and that was the band that I was forgetting about. Exodus.
yeah.
Early Exodus is in there. It
Hmm.
is really in there. And I'm
And
surprised other people didn't pick up on that, like as far as people doing reviews. They were just so hyper focused on, oh, this sounds like early Candlemass. Dude, that's not the only influence going in. Nah, not at all.
the only song that sounds like early Candlemass to me, though, is Arcana Rising, or Arcana Rising. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's to me, that's the only real Doom song to me. Outside of that, I would say the biggest influence is either Ghost or Merciful Fate, King Diamond.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Definitely.
until you get to Ceaseless Abandon, 85 and 7 starts off with kind of a Slayer riff at the very beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
Clockwork Cult
That's
begins
one
at
of my personal favorites right there.
that one really begins like Slayer, because
Yep.
it has pinch harmonics in the beginning of the song, and then it kind of goes off onto its King Diamond, but it has really good dark atmosphere.
Absolutely. And I do pick up on there is a lot of like that traditional 80s harmonized guitar parts together too, which is really really cool. Um I love it. So Mousebong says, I fucking love the old school attitude of fucking fun. Yes, before the hair. Before the hair. It was like we all have the fucking nastiest attitudes. We're full of attitude. We're here to sin our asses off, essentially. All those classic photos of those old bands back then, cases of beer and lots of fucking denim. Just mm, such a great time back in those days. She she goes on to say, "This is why the '80s ruled." Cody, absolutely says, "Fuck Lars." I love it. Oh, Mousebong says, "Can we just?" Oh, I think she wants to say blacklist the mention of Ghost. This must be a really really sore spot. I understand. I do. Um, I love it. She goes, Ghost equals. Okay, I guess there will never be a mention of this ever again unless there's a reason to make fun of them. We can do that. Oh, shit. Cody says, about as sore as sleep token.
To me, that's a whole new level of shit.
A new level
Yeah.
of putridness. No power. I love it. Oh man. And I think they did this first record right. There's only, let's see, 6 songs. So technically, this is an EP.
It's not an EP though, because
No,
the
the
short
length.
is like 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Most of the songs are in the 6 or 7 minute range, and Arcana Rising, the title track, is fucking 10 minutes and like 25 seconds.
Yes. That's what I was actually going to say, because technically, six tracks is an EP, but I mean they rock it out These are not short songs. And to be honest, I think it's fun that way.
Yeah, they go by quick though. Like it's not like you're stuck in a song because there are changes. They usually have like at least three different parts in each song. It's not
Mm-hmm.
five or six because they don't.
Nope, not at all. It never loses your interest, I
Yeah.
think is the best way to say that. Because it just keeps moving. It doesn't slow down. It's just it's a lot of songs like shit. Any of those great bands back then, it's like you don't want the song to stop, which is why the bands in the early days when they were playing live would like make it an extended version because people just love the riffs so much and it's like why stop, let's give it some extra, let's do some participation. It's almost kind of the same idea, only we're getting no real repetitive lyrics. Um, it doesn't sound like they're just trying to fill for time.
Yeah.
It's very intelligent. I really do like it.
And
Holy
if
crap!
you guys listen to this and you like it, then I would recommend you go to and look for Isengard. Fenris in the 90s through the early kind of 2000s put out 3 albums for Isengard. And they're all really good. They're a bit more even raw than this. And I think they intended on having a more raw, organic production for this album, especially the drums, which I love. And when you hear the new Human the Hoof Beast with Reaper on drums, you're going to hear that as well. But you'll have more snap. Now
Well,
that
sure.
it's prominently displayed in there. But if you like this, you'll very likely like Isengard. There's a few tracks on in the Isengard albums where, because in the early days, Fenris did a bunch of the vocals as a drummer, and then he does it a little bit with Isengard, but it's mostly this kind of power metal, kind of goofy, kind of vocals. They remind me a little bit of Bruce Dickinson from time to time,
Mm,
really drunk and kind
I
of
could see that.
like a slowed down Bruce Dickinson. It's so goofy, but if you give it a chance and go through the album like 3 or 4 times, that's what it took for me. Now I really like it. So would I buy this album? I think so. It's too much fucking fun and it's catchy and there's some good breakdowns in that fucking Slayer inspired song Ceaseless Abandon. I love that one because I miss Dave Lombardo when he's playing these slow grooves. And for this song, you have a slow Slayer like groove. And I challenge, especially Mousebong, to prove me or to either support me or challenge.
Yeah, Seasons in the Abyss was just that record where they kind of figured out if they dial it back a little bit, let some groove into the world. And there are moments on some of those other records where that does come through, but a little bit more so, obviously, it's more blatant on Seasons in the Abyss that they can actually do some really good grooving and just really good chug riffing without having to be so fucking fast all the time. Cannibal Corpse has done this too, people. Some of the great hailed death metal bands have done this. So there's nothing wrong with that because it can still be brutal, sometimes even more brutal when you have a bit more groove to what you're doing instead of just all the way through. And one of the things that you had mentioned earlier also that I was going to touch upon is the reason you hear the hi-hat even more so prominently, because when you're playing this very straightforward, more kind of metal, you're going to hear it more because they can hit it fucking harder. When you are doing extreme metal drumming and blasting and hyper blast and all gravity blast, all that shit, you watch the videos of these drummers doing it, they are not hitting hard at all. If you did, you would burn your fucking forearms out. I can attest to that because I've done it in the past. You cannot muscle through that shit. They're relying on the fingers more than they are the wrists. Because when you're wristing more than you're using your fingers, or fingering, if you will, you can't beat the hell out of it. So with this kind of good old fashioned, barn stomping metal, you can definitely hit harder and have a hell of a more fun time. And that's the thing that keeps popping up through all of this, the discussion of this album. It's fun. It's like, wait a minute, we remember the time when metal was fun, but it's still, like we said, very, very dark. Let me see here.
But it's not cheesy like
No.
Mouse Bonk's favorite band that she doesn't want us to bring up.
I love it. Let's see. Here it is. Mastering work was completed by Jack Control at Enormous Door, Dark Throne, and cover art appears courtesy of Polish artist. I can't say his name. I think his last name is Kamita.
The first name is Maciej. I had a Polish foreign student one time. That's Maciej.
Gotcha.
Polish
So
is a lot like Turkish. Turkish uses some of the same characters that English uses, but it has a totally different sound at times.
mm-hmm. So I mean, it was kind of it's kind of, it makes total sense. Dark Throne produced this record.
Another thing you hear in here besides the King Diamond is you hear Dark Throne in there as well.
It's there. It's definitely there.
And they're kind of more sludgier albums.
Yes. Which I absolutely love those.
It's kind of it's like I listen to so much extreme metal, and I'll listen to Catatonia from time to time or Tesseract. And then at work, I can't listen to extreme metal because I don't want to piss people off or
scare them away.
But this is a really nice change up for me, because I like having this to go to. Because I've said it in the past, I have a much harder time getting into power metal. It's just, especially the woman fronted power metal, like I really just don't like that. And a lot of the other power metal bands are just boring or cheesy to me.
The problem with some of those bands are there's no depth to it. And I understand what you're saying about the female fronted power metal. It kind of ends up being so poppy that the metal part gets lost.
Yeah, and a bit sappy too.
At times, sure. Absolutely.
Or whiny, dare I say, kind of like Evanescence, like in fucking girl.
But if we were talking about Powerwolf, though, pretty good stuff as far as power metal goes.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's a very slippery slope, though. You either have the good, which is more like a Powerwolf style band, and then there's Dragon Force, where they're just simply trying to outdo Iron Maiden, which will never happen.
They just they're so focused on guitar wankery. I've seen Dragon Force and I was bored. Oh my god.
Oh, look at all the tricks I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, we were definitely very awe-inspired of a lot of the great soloists, but they were solos, though. It wasn't, they had a good balance between riffing and soloing. Dragon Force is a little bit too more, like you said, on the solo aspect than they are the riff aspect. So Mousebong says, I'm super picky for power metal too. I would never tell someone I love power metal because I only like certain bands and certain albums. Well, and that's basically what we're trying to say. This album that Coffin Storm has done is definitely not a power metal record at all to me. It really doesn't come across that way. And apparently, other reviewers also noticed that this is not really a power metal record.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about everything that goes into it. Let's see here. Mousebong says, I personally know Herman Lee, the guitarist for Dragon Force. And he is an absolute gem of a human, but I'm not a huge fan of Dragon Force. And that's okay. I got nothing but good things to say about the guy. Super talented. I can't sit back after a long day and go, I'm going to rock out to Dragon Force. Sorry. I'm not going to kick up my fucking hooves on my couch and go, yeah, Dragon Force. It's not going to happen. It's going to be like, the First Down record is what I would put on, or some Master of Reality record from Sabbath, or something like that. It's definitely I just couldn't do that. I mean, I could put on an early Iron Maiden record that was really fucking good, like Number of the Beast, and go, yeah, I can still chill with this, even though I'm just relaxing, But this record makes me want to get up. It makes me want to destroy shit while drinking. And that's pretty good for me. There hasn't been a band like this, guys, out in the Morgrot universe in a long time. Don't you even try to tell me Steel Panther is fun. They are not. They're hacks in spandex.
Yeah,
they were created as a joke.
Yeah, I don't
not
get
party metal.
They don't get the day from me.
What's that?
They don't get the time of day from me. Hell no. I just there's so much good metal out there that I kind of know what I want to listen to, what challenges me, what inspires me. And right now it's all this dissident stuff that's out.
Well, no, that's good too, though.
I really love that stuff. Either that or
takes you to another planet.
Some Funeral Doom, but I can't listen to Funeral Doom as much because it's a little too slow at times. But yeah, gotta try stuff out.
But if it's done our way, it never gets old.
No. That's because we have variety in it. Like, you get fast tempo, you get mid-fast tempos, and then you get fucking slow. And
yeah, but it literally makes you feel, though, like you're being led to your death. It's like being in a death line. That's kind of how I view it, or at least that's where my mind goes when I'm playing those slow tempos.
Because that is what the album is about. It's about heading toward death. Yeah, getting to experience death. The whole is about that.
Mousebong says, Funeral Doom is good for that lovin' time, though. That's the first time I ever heard that, and thank you for saying so. That is fantastic. And she's like, it's the Marvin Gaye for metalheads. Oh, that's fantastic. And then she goes, well, maybe I'm weird. No, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I mean, that's like saying Cradle of Filth is not good for happy time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What more can we say about this record, guys? It's one of the most simplistic, albums that we have reviewed from this year. And I think the reason everyone is so loving this record is because they were expecting one thing, but got something so much more cool. And again, leave it to the Europeans to be like, you know, let's do something fucking fun, and just be simple, but super effective and super dark at the same time. And I think that's great because I haven't read an interview from any of these iconic black metal bands that didn't say they were inspired by slower, simplistic bands.
Well, this has Fenris inspiration all over it throughout, and good on him. There's interviews from back around like the third Isengard album coming out, and he talks about that kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, that mid tempo, but really cracking the fuck out of it. And I
Super
think
effective.
what I hear that's different in this from the tone is it's a little bit more groovy and a little bit happy, but it's still very dark. But I don't know, the grooves are just a little bit happy.
I think you have single-handedly created a new subgenre of metal known as goofy metal. See, and this is why I feel, that Spotify is fucking stupid. So she says, Clockwork Cult has only 1K plays on Spotify, but I love it. It's all over the place, but it rocks. It does. And it's only got 1K. Well, that's probably because, I don't know, it didn't appease, I don't know, today's listeners, because they're not looking for depth. Maybe they're not like, oh, this is cool. Oh, it's going over here now. Oh, they're like, okay, it's been so simple all the way through, but now we're throwing a little something, stranger at you. Well, if you're a Merciful Fate lover, you got that all the fucking time. That's how I feel about it. So how is it a new idea? It's not. They're just bringing it back going, hey, the satanic, masters of the universe did this long before us, and we love it, and we want to give its, just due, in my opinion. So, yeah.
So the ending big question for me, this is a good album. I will likely buy this album. I have listened to it a few more times, but it's approaching that I will probably buy this album. The question is, and maybe I haven't seen enough Fenris's interviews, will they go on tour? Because he, for whatever reason, does not like to tour.
Now that's weird. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. That's just me. If you have a hit record, you got to support it. You cannot, you're not going to get as big of a, and I hate to say this because, I mean, at the end of the day, we are artists. We do want to make a living at it. Your living is going to come from touring. And why wouldn't you want to feel that energy that you can get from the crowd? Like a band like this can play some like smaller, more intimate clubs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And really connect with your fans. I think people would really like to see this. And Europe is full of just great little in your face from one country to the next kind of places. They're not all huge. They're not, anything like open air or just small, intimate clubs that you can really rock out. Like in a lot of the old, like 1990s horror films when people would go into a club and a metal band is playing and there's the band, here's the people. You're right there. You could even probably gain more followers just by doing that. This album already has over 7K listeners per month. I mean, what the fuck does that tell you? Everybody loves it.
Well,
right?
if they do go on tour, I want them to open up for King Diamond.
Oh, that would be the fucking shit.
That would be the perfect pairing.
Oh, man. I would never say this. This is true blasphemy. King would be stupid not to have them as an opening act. And I would never say that about the King. So, you know, Cody says, not touring kind of seems selfish. If someone pays for your music, they should be able to see it live. But then again, how many people are not paying?
Yeah.
See, that's the double-edged coin. The fact that you can get this record, I can get this record right now. We obviously did right there on Spotify. It didn't pay a fucking dime. That just helps get it out to the world. You know what I mean? The people that are truly buying it is people that buy merch. They buy a physical copy or they add it to their vinyl collection. And like I said, since they're, a European band, I think that they'd be missing the mark if since cassettes are so huge over there right now, put some cassettes out of this thing. I'd buy that. I don't have a cassette player, but damn it. I'd like to say, hey, look what I got. I got a fucking cassette. I feel like I'm 11 again.
In 3 or 4 months, you can come over and listen to it on my cassette player.
Oh, hell yeah. There we go.
and I'll have a bottle of Jim Beam awaiting us.
Oh, man. Nothing hits like a good old beam in the middle of the afternoon. Tell me I'm lying, folks.
I'm empty. I got to get more.
Okay, this is an interesting point. But what about the introverts of the world that want to make music? Do you know how many of the greatest bands of all time are actually all, I don't know if you call them closet introverts, but there's something that happens when they step onto a stage where that no longer matters.
Mm-hmm.
I've played alongside of some people that hate being out around people or don't really speak much. They don't like being put on the spot. They don't like doing interviews. But damn it, the moment they're on stage, they're not thinking about that. They're only thinking about the music that's being created. So keep that in mind, because I think that's a very valid point.
All Reese would say as well, look at Dark Throne. We haven't had to play, and we've got a great following.
Shit, that'll triple by the time we hit the stage. Recreate this shit live, that's for sure. Oh, Mousebong said, I'd buy a cassette of this album as well. I almost forgot I still buy tapes. Well, as long as they're making them, it's not a lost art form, apparently. And that's good.
When the next album comes out, I'm gonna offer a package where they can get my first album's cassette with the new album.
Yeah, and that would not be tough. Which is why I almost say, if we could hit a good indie label in Europe, that won't be a problem. And it don't cost much to make. It's the damn vinyl. But then again, the price of vinyl in the US, I think, differs from the price of vinyl in Europe. Now, I might be mistaken, but I don't think I am. I think the price of vinyl is probably a little bit cheaper over in Europe because they have a huge demand for it.
Well, I think the due to like Void Hanger Records, that's a good indie label out of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered A Causal Intrusion back in November. I still don't have it. The album came out in September.
Wow.
I still don't. I ordered the CD and the vinyl, and I still don't have it. So I wrote them, and they were just like, yeah, we're experiencing a delay. They haven't got the vinyls to us, but yeah, we're going to get them to you. So I'm going to have to write them after a while and say, I'm moving. So can we change the address?
Yeah. And they went through European distribution to get it?
Yeah, Void Hanger is based out of there. So I think that's where they're making
Hmm.
them. And then I get it as an import.
Hmm. Well, then I wonder what company they're going through, or should I say what country? Because as you know, there is a lot of chaos over in Europe. So that could be part of the problem. It could be a shipping problem. The vinyl could be done, but they're just having trouble getting it out of the country. So I guess it just depends on who their distributor is. Because pretty much, I don't know what I want to say there. When the Black Flame, my last Black Tar Superstar record, that took us about 9 weeks. I want to say
Mm.
about 2 months, 2 to 3 months was the longest wait. So I don't
Yeah,
know. It just really depends.
that was 3 years ago. Now vinyl's
That's true.
really skyrocketed. Everybody
Right.
now 6 to 9 months.
Just a travesty in the industry.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that Coffin Storm is doing vinyl. So for all you vinyl lovers out there in the Morgrat universe, you definitely could probably grab you a vinyl of this record, which would be awesome. Let's see. Mousebong said, I had a label about 10 years ago and it was so quick. Yeah, because it was 10 years ago. For sure. It's like, I don't know. The first American thing is, oh, somebody's got great interest in this product. Hike it up. Seems like that's the way. I don't know. Cody says, I'd like to find an old tape player, but hell, I can't even find a CD holder even at Goodwill. Really?
Hmm.
There's got to be a place online that you could get. I've seen it. If you can get a brand new fucking um, vinyl record player, there is cassette players, there is CD players, and at most, if you gotta use your game system, they play CDs too. As
Yeah,
far as I
no,
know.
if you go on Amazon and a Victorinox, I think it is, and it plays vinyls, CDs, Bluetooth,
Damn.
auxiliary, and cassettes. It has all of that,
Holy shit.
and FM
That's your
radio.
one-stop fucking place for that shit. God damn.
I think I paid
Uh
140, $125, something like that.
that's pretty modest.
Sounds
Pretty modest of a price. Mousebong says, I just bought a Ghetto Blaster with a dual deck cassette. Oh, that's awesome. Oh shit. Yabelka has been in the fray this whole time. Welcome. We missed you. Said I have a portable CD and cassette player. Oh, tell me you have the fuzzy earphones from back in the day. You know, the ones where the pads fall off after a while. That's what I remember, because that is what I used to use when I was practicing drums back in the day for 2 hours after school every day. Damn, the good old days. So much fun. Well, I gotta say, guys, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5.
If I'd give it like a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5. It's good though. Like 3.5 to me is quite good. And
Oh,
yeah,
especially this current status.
maybe I would give it a 4. Um, Usually, what I give 4.5s to 5 stars are bands who are either like Marduk or Watain, who are showing us excellent example of what black metal is. It's either that or it's the nightmare, artificial brain, acausal intrusion, these bands Ahab that are really pushing boundaries. That's what I reserve 4.5 to 5 stars.
And that's great. I think this is a shining example of a band that is not, obviously not as extreme as a lot of these types of bands, but they're doing something for metal that really has not been done. I will never, and we've said this more than once, I will never put fucking Coffin Storm next to Ghost in the same sentence. I would never do that. Why? Because Coffin Storm fucking rocks. It reminds us, it takes us back in a way that is still relevant today. Ghost was relevant for people who don't want to admit that they like metal.
Yeah.
I don't even call them metal. They're goddamn hard rock. Cody says, I pulled those pads off. I remember listening to Godsmack Awake on a portable tape player on the school bus. Nice. So it's good to know that you also had that experience as a kid. Because, I mean, shit, we had Walkmans. That's the way it was. It's what we had. It was something that we kept on ourselves at all times. It was as essential as breathing. Same thing happened when the CD Walkman came out. So, you know, either way, super important, super cool.
And we made tapes with our playlists on it to share with our friends.
The
like, hey,
true mixtape.
check. Especially if there was, like for me being a guy, a special lady that I wanted to live.
That's called the romantic what do you call it? The romantic mixtape, where literally the name that you stuck on this was the girl's name. Be like, Jenny's Jams. Those were the days. All righty. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on this Mommy Milkers Monday. So much that I just have to, play it again. Because we want to send you off in a positively good mood as you're going into Tuesday going, God damn it, I got to go to work tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, so do I. So that at least gives us, some good inspiration to move forward in the week. And we totally, absolutely fucking love you guys for joining us every Monday night. It's always a blast and a great way to start your week. And we have much more coming up this week. There will be an edition of Reapers Underground later on this week, so stay tuned to Facebook for that. And I also have a very special announcement, as there's big news from the Underground that I cannot reveal yet, but I will more than likely later this week. And it's something very, very personal for probably just about all of our viewers, as this is a part of your daily life, but this will be even better. So stay tuned for that. Remember to give them hell tomorrow, no matter what may come your way.
Bitch, I hope the fuck you do. You'll be a dead son of a bitch, I tell you that.
You tell them to fuck right off. And power your way to the weekend, because it's going to be a great fucking weekend. But the most important thing, though, when you're doing that, stay heavy.